Hey, what's up? This is Eric, and got a few more new varieties to try. We're gonna get to this one because I did not think it was gonna be that ripe when I opened it up, and it is pooled with honey. I hope it's good. It's split in the rain pretty bad, but luckily this one was bagged, so none of the bugs got to it. Some of these probably could have taken more time, but we have so much bug pressure right now with the cooler weather setting in. The cucumber beetles, the stink bugs, the fruit flies are all kind of swarming right now. So we'll get some weights on things, and I'll tell you what got head starts for how long, and go from there. So this one is LSU Hollier, 33 grams. This did not get a greenhouse start. It is ripening more or less along with my Mount Etnas, but with like all honey figs, it's so hard for me to tell like when to pick them. This one needed a lot more time, and it's still relatively well ripened, but obviously needed some more help. But I'm encouraged by this tree because of how early it is and the fact that it doesn't need any help. I can grow this one in the ground, I'm sure, without any issue. These two, well, these three all got head starts, and I am not confident at all that any of these can ripen without a greenhouse. But the only way to really tell is to test it. This one is really soft, but when you open it up, it doesn't look like it's ripened all the way, or it's not ripened properly. 21 grams. This one is called La Bourgeoisie, and you can see, I mean, it looks like it's struggling, and I mean, it's cracking. I had bugs kind of swarming it. There was a stink bug on it trying to get into it. It's really soft, but it's not all the way ripened. I struggled with that tree last year as well. I actually have two of them, and I've been testing one with the head start in the greenhouse and one without. Last year it was kind of a mixed bag. They kind of ripened at the same time, and they didn't ripen very many. This year, this is the one that got the greenhouse start. The one that didn't get the greenhouse start is dropping everything. So I'm at a loss. It could just be water issues. It could just be, I don't know. I have no idea. Oops. So this one, 29 grams. This one I have high hopes for. It's supposed to be early, but again, this one got a head start in the greenhouse. The same amount of time as these two did, and they're all ripening together at the same time. So, what does that mean? I have no idea. This one is called St. Martin. And then this one will get, hopefully, a weight on this. Oh, my scale fell. All right. That wasn't quick enough. All right, here we go. So 54 grams on that one. That's a nice size. You can see there's a lot of honey there in the center. Like I said, I was not expecting it to be that full of honey when I opened it up. So we'll start with the Hollier. I've eaten a few of these, and I've tried to get my picking down to a science, and I had one that was really good, and then all the rest of them have been kind of meh. But this is the first year fruiting for all of these, so I don't expect much. Yep, sweet cucumbers, not good. Yeah, not good. So that's my fault for picking too soon and just not really being over anxious. It's just like, it's like last year when I was picking from a really well-established Italian honey tree. Those were like cracked and shriveled, and those were excellent. I think a lot of honey figs just need to be at that stage, and it's hard when you only get a few figs. It's hard to get there. All right, so let's go with La Bourgeoisie next. Yeah, we'll see. Well, it's sweeter than that one, but I mean, there's just not a whole lot of flavor, and depending on the time of year, I have found that with this variety, you get different pigmentation on the skin, but man, it's so soft and so squishy, but it's just not ripe yet. That's really frustrating, you know. Usually the bugs are pretty good about telling you when something's ripe. So this one looks pretty good. Obviously it can go longer, looking at the pith around the pulp. But again, part of growing is learning when to pick stuff, and you know, kind of, it's going to change for every single variety. It's going to be different. So, wow, very intense. Not all the way ripe, obviously, but very intense, like punch of kind of berry flavor. That's nice. That one's got real potential. I think once you get it fully ripe, it would be a lot sweeter. And if it were ripened, you know, more in the heat of our midsummer, say in August, I may need to leave this one in the greenhouse longer to get a better result. But also, next year, not being such a cold spring, maybe, hopefully, it'll be a better representation of what the fig could be. But I think this one has potential. So this one has potential because Hollier is early enough it can go in the ground and be grown in the ground without any issue. La Bourgeoisie, I'm losing hope on. It's just late. Even with the greenhouse start, it's proving to be a late variety. And I would be curious to see how other people growing it, specifically in the Northwest, how they're faring with this one. I'm not convinced that it's a good variety for us. And I have 2 trees, so I'm probably going to get rid of one of them. I'll keep the one that I have in the bigger pot and just let it continue on without having the greenhouse. But the 7-gallon, I will probably end up culling that one, just in favor of space. All right, so then this one was, you know, like I said, I wasn't expecting it to be this ripe. I have heard good things about it, and I've heard bad things about it. I've heard that caprified, it is one of the best varieties out there. I've also heard that uncaprified, it's really not worth growing. So we're gonna try it. This one's called Bergen Unknown, and this was from Brian Melton down in California is the one that found it and has distributed it. And this is my first year fruiting it, so It certainly looks good, but I'm guessing it's going to be kind of typical honey flavor. Wow. It's not even typical honey flavor. It's not even really that sweet. As well ripened as that is, it doesn't really even have much sugar to it. That's so disappointing. I don't know if this is coming through on camera or not, but I mean, this thing is oozing honey. But it's just flavorless. Wow. Well, you know what? There's bound to be some varieties that work and some that don't. But I think this is a good video to have, because, you know, I'm human. Obviously, I have this propensity of picking too early, but even when something is not picked too early, it can still be lackluster. So that's so disappointing, because it looks good. Aside from the big crack that was across the bottom, it looks really good. It's nice and soft. A lot of honey, but just no flavor. That's bizarre. Huh. I'm gonna try this side, because this is the side facing the sun. I'll try this side and see if there's any difference, but yeah, there's very little sugar in that. Huh. What a shame. If Brian's watching, I'm sorry. I don't mean to dog your tree. It's nothing against that. I think it's probably going to be fantastic caprified. When I cut it open, I guess I just got my hopes up. But, you know, there's another couple on the tree that are ripening. I'll bag them and see if they develop. You know, sometimes the first fig on the tree just isn't, honestly, it just isn't representative of the end version. Sometimes you can have something that's really lackluster at first, and then later on when you have it again on a different fig, and they can blow you away. So, you know, even from year to year. For example, Moscatel Preto, when I had Moscatel Preto last year, it looked a lot like that inside. It was a honey fig. This year, it's a berry fig. And completely different experience eating it. So, you know, it bears further trial, I think. I don't want to make any snap judgments. But anyway, so there you go. I've got a few more figs ripening, varieties ripening. I've actually got a couple of Smith that are ripening that didn't get the greenhouse that I'll be reporting on. But our season, I mean, this is probably about the last week of good weather that we're going to have. I think, anyway. So, we'll see. Not to go out on a lackluster kind of down note, but hopefully we get some good stuff before the end. All right. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.